Welcome to Planning Face. Oh, hold on. Let me go shut my doors in the back.
Yeah.
Welcome.
You all right, bro?
No.
Did you get your whiskey, by the way?
My whiskey.
Yeah. Did you get, you didn't forget in the Airbnb, right?
Oh, no.
All right, cool.
I drank it all last night.
Cool.
Welcome to Planning Face Syndicate. Thank you all so much for joining us for episode 54 of our Star Wars Unlimited podcast. Yes, we have 54 unlimited episodes for your viewing pleasure. If you are new to the stream because we met you this weekend at Richmond, welcome to the show. We have a link right on the screen and in the show notes where you could go ahead and subscribe to your choice of content. Typically, we release everything on YouTube, as well as like Spotify or whatever your favorite podcast catcher is. With that being said, we have an amazing show tonight. It's going to be a little bit different. We don't have Alex with us currently right now. He's working a little bit later tonight. Might pop in towards the end of the episode. Not 100% sure, but we are talking Richmond. JJ and I both went to Richmond. JJ went a little bit less far, with only having to drive 3 hours, whereas I put in a 12-hour drive each way on Friday and on Sunday. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but we're going to cover all the medalists. This is the tournament that helps flesh out kind of, hey, what's going to be popular and what's going to actually do well. And we have quite a few statistics that we could kind of go through tonight. With that being said, let me bring in my co-host for tonight. Please welcome JJ. How are you tonight, sir?
Doing all right, and enjoying my break after the very long drive from Richmond coming back. Had a blast over at Richmond. It was a ton of fun playing at that large event. We had 598 people playing, which to date was the largest SWU event that we've had so far. So it was a lot of fun meeting a lot of people out there and just playing the game and enjoying it. And yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah. So tonight, it's going to be fun. I had a little bit more success than JJ in the main event, but then JJ played a side event and then kicked everybody's butt in the side event. So I don't know. Like, I think that it was the person that got a little bit more practice, probably. I won't lie and say, like, even Friday night, I was sitting there on Carabas just messing around, playing Unlimited. Yeah, it's what it is. But we had a really good time down in Richmond. So yeah, I don't know. So that was my weekend. You know, JJ had the similar weekend that I did. I didn't do almost anything else. Essentially, I left Friday at 6:30 in the morning, and we got there about 6 o'clock at night. Went to the hotel, changed, went to a KTOD meetup, and then after that, we went back to the hotel, checked our decks. And then we decided we were going to go ahead and get an early sleep, which didn't really come very easily. I don't think I fell asleep until after midnight.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm not an early to bed person either. So like I do at home, I'm personally like, I don't usually go to bed till 1 o'clock in the morning, even for work. Like, but I also like, I work from home most of the time. And the one day I do go into work, I just go to bed a little bit earlier on that day.
Fair.
But yeah, we then played all of Saturday. We played all Saturday, and then we played all of Sunday as well. I did. You had to essentially, not even all the 6 and 2s were going to get in. So you essentially really wanted to go 7 and 1 if you wanted to make day 2, but they did let most of the 6 and 2s in. I think there were 7 of them that didn't get in. There was 3 of us from our local group that went. I went 6 and 2, and they went 5 and 3. So they didn't make day 2, but they also had a really good showing at the event. So they all ended up over 50%, and they were all up over like Sam, I think, came in at 100 and something, 140th, and Ryan came in around 100. So like they were still in like the top 20 to 25% percentile. Our local showed. So I thought that was pretty good. Yeah. So JJ also decided that he was going to run the same deck that I did, except for I didn't have any extra stolen AT haulers. So
yeah.
I don't
But
know
still,
how
I
that
mean,
affected
without the
your day.
haulers, it still did really, really well. I mean, so my goal for the event was to get at least 2 wins, which would have matched my previous performance at the last PQ that I had here at Atomic Empire. I ended up getting 3, and I wanted to play my 7th round after I got my 3rd loss. But they were giving out the final call for the 5 o'clock tournaments constructed, and I just wanted to play that. I wanted to enter that as soon as I can, since that was the last side event for the day. So after I got my 3rd loss, I ended up just running over to the side event and registering for it, and I went 3-0, and it was really, really great. I got to say that the highlight for the tournament was that I did not face the same leader twice, almost the entire event. The only leader that I faced off more than once, which was my very last round, was a Quinlan deck that I ended up facing off on my last round for the side event. But beyond that, every single match that I had was a different leader and a different deck, and that felt really, really great and healthy for the meta. And I was just really glad that I did. I got my 3 wins, and that's exactly what I wanted out of the experience. So yeah.
Yeah. And I told you that deck's fire. And it's funny because out of 64, there was 4 Vaders, and 3 of them were yellow Vader that made top 64 this weekend. So it was a very represented, maybe not super high represented, but it was a very successful deck. It overperformed its stay. And we'll actually, I have some of those statistics that we could look at here in a few minutes. So, but it was a fun weekend. I got to meet a lot of new faces. I'm newer obviously to the SWU community. There were some old X-Wing buddies there. So I got to hang out with Paul Heaver for a little bit. That was kind of fun. I got to talk with Paul Heaver. Though I don't think that guy ever remembers me. Like, I think he just like, I'll say, I know who you are from X-Wing. He's like, oh yeah. And then he like talks to me like we're friends. I don't genuinely think he knows who the fuck I am though. Like, I really don't.
I mean, to be fair, he meets so many people, man. But yeah, it's great. Paul's a great guy though.
Yeah. And Crispy was there. We got to hang out with Crispy a little bit. And Duncan was there. And so that was it was kind of like, oh, here's some of the old X-Wing people. Obviously they're still playing X-Wing, but now they're coming into the SWU market a little bit. And Crispy, Paul, and Duncan all made top 64. So they all made day 2 that day too. So it was kind of weird. Like, I sat there and Crispy would walk by. He's like, did you win? Yeah, no. Okay. We're going to get paired together. It's going to happen. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I think what we're gonna do first though is, before we talk too much more about Richmond, we are gonna get into Richmond tonight because that's what I promised. I'm gonna go through my run. I ended up coming in 39th overall. So I lost a heartbreaking game 12 with one action too short. Essentially, I had the board locked up and he just happened to top deck or had a card that he needed. And if I had, I would have ended up like 22nd, and I would have won the Vader Showcase. So, I did not get the Vader Showcase, and I didn't get very much good stuff for my packs. I did get I got a Profundity Hyperspace foil, and I got like the Unity card. I got one of those, and I got another Death Star plans. So I did get a few things out of it. The bigger thing was the tickets and the prizes, and I will say, like, I guess let's talk about it now, because JJ dropped you for the tournament. How much did you spend to get into the side tournament that same day?
It was 20.
Yeah, so you paid $20, and how many tickets did you end up with out of that?
700.
Yeah, so JJ paid $20, got 700 tickets, and then we got 300 for the day 1. Excuse me, right? So we got 300 for day 1. They gave us 1,000 for making day 2. But if you played in day 2 and you wanted to try to get the showcase, you had to literally play all day. You could not just drop out. Like, even after I lost my first round on day 2, I couldn't drop out if I wanted to attempt to get the Vader Showcase, or to even maybe get into the top 16. And that was just like the biggest issue I had, with that, was that I couldn't farm the rest of the tickets. So I believe what they should do is they should give you tickets for being in day one. Like if you stay past, let's say, round 3 or 4, every round you win after that, you should get extra tickets. Or they could just give you tickets for every round that you win and not give people like a super large amount of tickets at the end. So I did end up getting, like, there was a Kylo mat. I got the Kylo mat. I got a Close the Gate mat. I got a Poe crate Dex box. I got the Poe Dameron. They had the Poe Dameron like participation mat. I got that as well, which was cool. And then, I got the Obi-Wan entry card, which is dope looking. Those cards are actually better than they were on stream. Like the Obi sticks out a little bit, and same with the Kylo. If you get that Kylo card, Kylo like actually like kind of comes out of the card.
It's like a 3D effect almost. Yeah. It's great.
So those are like really cool. And I will say, like, I'm not like upset I got the Kylo card. So like I will never probably play the Kylo card, but I have the Kylo card. I don't know, maybe I'll sell it or something. Who knows? But yeah, so it was kind of fun. There was a lot of stuff going on. After we played day one, we went back to the hotel, and we went out to dinner after that. But because I had to play day two, the guys are like, "No, we're not going to let you go out and drink all night. So we're going back to the hotel. You're going to bed at a decent hour, Chris." It's like, I don't want to.
So you're saying that if you would have drank, you would have made higher than 39.
Sometimes I do wonder that. I did drink a little bit. Like I had a couple of drinks at the restaurant and a couple of drinks at the hotel too. But like, yeah, like I do wonder, like, sometimes if because it takes the nervousness piece away, like I just wonder if that's, like if that helps a little bit. I don't know. So
yeah, I had a long 3-hour drive after I left. So yeah, there's no way I was going to be able to do that.
Yeah. But we stayed at the hotel we stayed in was pretty decent. We stayed about 15-ish to 20-ish minutes away, not even that, and it was not bad. The parking was decent too, right? Like, so I thought the parking was pretty good there. Comparatively, it was only $8 to park there, which I thought was like super cheap. Like I thought this was going to be like $25 parking and
it's not like PAX, thankfully. Yes.
Yeah. Though now, where is PAX at? Is that in Philadelphia?
Philly. Yeah.
Okay. That kind of sucks. Is like I was kind of hoping it would be like on the north side, because like we did look up like how far Philly is. We were talking about going to PAX this year. We already made the 12-hour drive. Like, I mean, can we do it again? But I don't know. Philly. I looked up Philly, and Philly is like it's kind of the same length as the other one is.
And more expensive by far.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was kind of a. Maybe we will, maybe we won't do it. So, but before we talk any more about Richmond, we got some spoilers, and I'm going to take the time tonight because we got spoilers. We're going to go through a few of them. And I still haven't figured out how we're going to do the new format for going forward, whether we're going to cover every one of the cards, but I wanted to cover a couple of the cards they released just because I can, I guess. So if you're ready, let's get into our Galactic Gazette, our new segment, and talk a little bit about some Inquisitors.
Let's do it.
All right. Welcome to our Galactic Gazette. Tonight, we're going to be talking about some Inquisitors, some Inquisitor things, and the most amazing Plo Koon I've ever seen. I hope to God we still get him as a leader, even if we get him as a unit. But we had some spoilers. We had a couple of things FFG dropped. So FFG dropped an article. That's the first thing. And we're not going to cover a lot of the article. You could go read it yourself. But there was some cool stuff that kind of came out of the article. And they kind of talked a little bit about what this set's going to have. Like, there's going to be a card that has like I don't know, a ton of eyes on it. There's going to be a card where there's only one eye, yada yada yada. So we decided we're going to cover these tonight to begin with. So I'm going to kick it off real quick, and we're going to do Scythe, which I did not know that was the name of a ship. JJ, is that like something I guess I just didn't know?
I had no idea that they named it the Scythe. They probably mentioned it offhand in the Obi-Wan show, but honestly, I had no idea that was the name of the ship.
Yeah. So it's an Inquisitor silhouette. Here's the best part. This now has an Inquisitor tag on it.
Mm-hmm.
So like this ship actually has Imperial and Inquisitor. So this works with your Imperial builds, and if they give us Inquisitor builds, it's going to work with an Inquisitor build.
Yeah.
So that's pretty dope. This is a 4-cost red villainy card with a 3/5 stat line. On attack, you may give another friendly Inquisitor unit +2 for this phase. Nothing super outlandish. Seems pretty good if they give us a lot of Inquisitors. I will say I'm not as sold on this whole Inquisitor thing yet, because they keep doing this to us where like we have these resistance, and then like how many resistance did we get? How many first order do we get? Like we aren't seeing people running Poe resistance decks. They're running Poe rebel decks with a little bit of resistance in them,
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, currently right now we have, as far as Inquisitors, we have Grand Inquisitor, Fifth Brother, Seventh Sister, and now Third Sister coming up. So unless you really, really dedicate yourself into having those specific cards, 3 of each in there, and even though you can only have 1 of each at a time, I mean, it's kind of hard to justify putting this in your deck for a cost. I'm sure it'll probably get better with more time as we get more of the Inquisitors, fleshed out and revealed. But it's kind of dead on arrival right now, a little bit, I would say.
Yeah, so it's okay. It's cool. I like having the Inquisitor thing, and again, we'll see. Maybe we'll get enough Inquisitors to run an Inquisitor deck. We'll see. We'll see how it flushes out. Yeah. Next one, I know I can already feel JJ's excitement, because this guy's got a gold face. We don't know why. I have no idea why this guy's got a gold face. I don't remember outside of the show like that him having a gold face, right? So
yeah, so essentially it's the so this comes from the Ahsoka show, where we get to see Grand Admiral Thrawn in live action. This is the head of his guard, Captain Enoch. So he comes in with a 3-cost green and villainy aspect with 1 attack and 5 health. It has Imperial and Trooper, and it reads, this unit gets +1 for each Trooper unit in your discard pile. So this has some uses. There's definitely a lot of different Imperial Troopers that you can really build out. This actually could go well with Tarkin, Governor Tarkin, since you do want to have like a lot of Imperial units out there, and Trooper units are pretty good, especially when you equip them out with that other guy that gives bonuses for each Trooper unit that's available. So you can make yourself a really solid Trooper deck with various different leaders. So this being played for 3 costs later on, like towards turn 6 or so, after a couple of your Troopers have already died, he can all of a sudden become a very big buff. Even if you have Troopers get discarded from your hand from some of those mill decks, this just makes Enoch a little bit stronger, more towards the mid to late game. So has some uses. It's a very niche type thing, right? Because again, you have to build with a lot of Troopers, and it doesn't have to be Imperial Troopers. It could be any type of Troopers from any type of other factions, but it definitely has some uses in those decks.
Yeah, you know who also likes this card? Afra and Trench.
Yes, Afra
and Trench. I can just discard Troopers. So your boy's going to try to make a Trench discard Trooper deck. We'll see if it works.
Yeah.
I like this. I wonder if we're going to... You remember that parliamentarian guy that makes you like... You choose an opponent and they have to shuffle their discarded. I wonder if that card like will finally have relevance. Like if people will have to run that because of some of these type of cards. Like if we get more of these cards, I think like that's a possibility they might have to run it. But I don't know. I like it. I think it's cool. I actually am kind of excited about this card. It might be fun to make a Trench or a Thrawn deck with it too. See, can we get an Imperial Trooper like synergy going in a Thrawn deck? I don't know. The next one we have is a 6-cost villain or a hero blue Plo Koon unit. He is a Force Jedi Republic. He is a 6/8. He has an 8 health on him. Like, I guess you could die to Rivals Fall, but holy crap. And his statement basically is while the Force is with you, this unit gains grit. So here's the funny thing. That that there's that 6-cost or 4-cost Jedi execute order 6/6 card that does 6 damage to all Jedi. It still doesn't kill this guy. And if you play that and you haven't swung with this guy, he just now all of a sudden can hit for 12. Like this dude, is like, screw you and your anti-Jedi card, because I was actually thinking that that's going to be a staple in my decks, in my villain decks is going to be that card, and now not so much. Right now, like, oh, look at this Jedi, yeah, he can't do anything, and he only costs 6.
And he's a great target too for ECL, right? You know, you deploy him at 6, he swings into something that doesn't have that much high of attack, and all of a sudden he has that grid as long as you have that force, and now you've basically supercharged your Plo Koon automatically. And if you manage a way to give him overwhelm, he's going to be a monster. Like, he's going to be great.
Yeah. So I actually really like this Plo Koon card, and I hope this is indicative that we're getting a Plo Koon this set.
Yep.
We'll go on to the last spoiler that we have. I'll give JJ the honors. This is the first official leader. Giving JJ the credit because either he edited our doc to tell everybody that he's doing it. He might have done that. I'll go back and look through the doc and see all the if JJ edited the doc to make sure that he had Riva on his card.
I will timestamp the moment I mention her on our stream. Okay.
All right. Do it, baby.
So we got third sister, also known as Inquisitor Riva, for those who have not seen the Obi-Wan show. She reads action, play a unit from your hand. It gains hidden for this phase, and hidden means it cannot be attacked for this phase unless it has Sentinel. She deploys on a 5, and she has 5 attack and 4 health, pretty low for an Inquisitor, but she also has hidden. And then on attack, the next unit you play this phase gains hidden. So that means you can deploy another unit after she attacks, and your opponent cannot attack that particular unit. Definitely has some uses, right? Because there's some cards that you want to build up in order for them to become better by the time they're ready to activate and swing onto the next turn. Riva does enable you to set up a turn for those big swings, so that way your unit can't attack that particular unit. Now, that being said, your opponent can still waylay your unit or exhaust them through different card effects and such. But as far as removal from the board, they cannot be attacked. So it definitely will have some uses, having that hidden ability on it. Just kind of sucks that she is a 4 health, so she'll die relatively quickly. Especially if you have like a Sentinel unit out on the board, it'll be pretty easy to take her down. But I'm sure there'll be other cards that kind of will make her a little bit better. Not exactly the biggest splash for the first leader that we have here available, but definitely nice to see Riva come out as a leader.
Yeah, I will say I'm tentatively excited for her. I'm a little weirded out that she flips and can immediately be open fired, right?
Yeah.
So I don't. We've talked about this before, and if you're running a deck that has this kind of can be an aggro deck that is anti-aggro because you can't kill it that turn. But at the same token, I don't know if she's going to be very impactful, because you're going to flip her and like. I guess if you have a lightsaber that you can buff her up with, great. Like then she can't just die to anything. But you're gonna have to be very careful. I mean, that's what IG suffers is because this is the same stats IG 88 has, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, she
I don't know. I don't dislike her. I like the theme. I like the fact that she is Imperial and an Inquisitor, and she has the Force traits, so she works with all those. She's in the red color. A fallen lightsaber on her can make her insanely deadly. So I think I don't know. I think against control decks, she fails. Against like aggro decks, she probably is going to give that edge for it. But we will see kind of how it flows. I don't know.
I just feel like this is setting up like a hate card, right? Like as an equipment with that, if you get stabbed in the stomach, you don't die. You just come back for more power. I think that's what they're setting up.
Could be. That would make sense. All right. So we're going to go over real quickly some of the stuff from the article. They have essentially talked about there's going to be 79 unique units across the entirety of the set. So there's going to be 79 specific unique, which is higher than anything we've seen before. There is a neutral event in the set that has an identical text box to a card from a previous set that had an aspect. So I don't know what that is. I don't know, JG, do you have an idea what would be a event from another aspect that's now neutral?
Not that I know of, actually. Nothing I can think of off the top of my head.
How about force throw?
Yeah, force throw could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah.
That would be dirty.
Or force pull. Force pull.
We don't have force pull though.
No, I'm saying like they can just name it force pull, but it's
Yeah,
essentially the same card. Yeah.
Sure. I hope it's force throw, and that's gonna be like there we go. Everybody gets it now.
Yeah.
The other thing is they essentially talk. There are 3 villainous Jedis in this set, 2 heroic cards that directly call out the villainy aspect, and 1 unit that lets you play any lightsaber you want for free. We saw it on Grievous; it didn't work, but maybe with all these new lightsabers, maybe Grievous is going to get new life in this set, right? Because Grievous has that whole throw 4 different lightsabers on him, right? And he just goes to town.
So what Jedi do you think are going to be the villainous Jedi?
Well, I think it's if we get Darth Bane. Darth Bane. Well, he never was a Jedi, though, was he?
No.
Was Revan a Jedi?
No, he was not. So for me, I think Krell definitely is going to be one of them, right? General Krell from Clone Wars, because we already have a Jedi version of him. Yep. We don't have a villainous Jedi. The only other one that would come to mind is Count Dooku, because he was technically a Jedi and then became a villain, and we already have his Tales of the Jedi, version of him. I have no idea what the third one would be, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the bigger thing. Anakin. Like, it depends if it's going to be a leader. Like, I predicted Anakin would be a villainous leader this set. So, like, I'm going to stick to Anakin because I think that's logical, and it also fits Destiny a little bit. So
that's fair. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care about the things. There's 4 different cards in the set that all reference scenes from the same novel. My assumption is that's going to be a High Republic. That's kind of some of the preview that we had. There's a picture of somebody from the High Republic in this. And I am here to tell you, I have officially I have 2 books left for the High Republic. At least as of the end of last year, there was 2 books I hadn't read. So now I got to pull those back out and start going through those again. Other than that, I don't you could read through all the other stuff. I don't think there's a lot of cool, big things. They did say there's something when deployed, you may discard your hand. So there's going to be a leader that lets you just dump your hand. I don't know. That's crazy. Like, I don't know who that would be. If you were attacked a Jedi unit this phase, you're going to get something. I don't know. So, I think it's cool. Some of the stuff that we're seeing, I'm not 100% sold that everything's going to be amazing, but that's kind of where we're at with this. So that's enough spoilers. I don't really want to go too farther. I kind of want to talk about Richmond. What we're going to do now is we're going to talk a little bit about our runs for the day. All right, welcome back. We are going to talk a little bit about the Richmond. We're going to talk about JJ's run. We're going to talk about my run. We'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll kind of actually get into the overall aspect of it, of the event. So I will tell you right now, this was this felt almost as tedious as playing X-Wing, like at Worlds. So I don't know, Alex, I know you didn't go with us, but next time, we had enough room at the hotel for you, baby. We should have just dragged your ass with us. It was so much fun.
I was shockingly free. 3 different people canceled my plans. My plans for that day was canceled. My backup plans were canceled. And my backup plans were canceled. I apparently could have gone.
I know, and it would have been so much fun. We would have had all 3 of us at the same room at the same time. Oh man, it would have been crazy. So if you had gone, what would you have ran? Trench?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably, I guess. That or Palpatine. Probably Palpatine. I don't know. I would have made something.
Yeah, so just so you know, somebody took the trench deck there to that event. Just so you
Nice.
know, they did. So
And they won the entire thing with
no,
it.
they did not. No, they definitely did not win the whole Richmond thing. I think they went 1-3 or 2-3 or something like that.
It's a tough deck.
Yeah. So I guess we'll go ahead and kick it off. I'll kick it off with my run first. So essentially, I made 8-4. So I went 8-4. I made day 2 with the Vader deck. So this is my current Vader deck. I think we went over my Vader deck before, so I don't really know how much we really have to go through it. I can tell you the big changes I made to it is I cut out one of the Mining Guild ties. Well, I added Mining Guild ties in. There you go. I added them in, and then I went and I cut them down. I also cut Victor 3 down to 1 of. And I added a third clone and a third Geonosian to the board, which I will tell you the Geonosians, like the third one, having the third one all day actually was beneficial. I thought it was BS and I would never use the third one. But after I had the third one, I actually found I liked the third one in there so much more than I ever thought I would. My sideboard changed to thanks to Alex, Frozen and Carbonite, which yes, I did use actually three or four times.
Underrated card.
Yep, I cited it in more than one time. I would say if I played Resupply in this deck, I might actually cut No Good to Be Dead and just go to Frozen and Carbonites and be done with it. I actually, when I sub things out, I always pulled Victor 3 out. So Victor 3 came out every game, period. Like I played it when I had it, but when I had the sideboard stuff in, I just dumped that thing. Which I don't know. I don't know if that's the right call or not, but that was just an easy dump. I also added the salvage back and I added waylays back. Those are kind of the things. The waylays did not come in handy very often. Outmaneuvers came in handy almost all the time. It won me 2 games and lost me a game, which we could talk about in a little bit. And then the salvages were okay. They didn't perform like I thought they would. Those stupid lurking tie phantoms. I don't know. Like I did not like them, but then I didn't face any like outside of Kira. I didn't face a bunch of blue. And like I just threw them on the table, and like when I played Cad, he couldn't ping it. Like he just sat there. It's like, yep, I'll ping this. And they're like, oh, that's sad. Oh, I guess I'm not going to activate my Cad trigger this time, you know. And then you put Vader on it, and that's just stupid. Like it just becomes dumb if you put Vader on it. I won't say that they should be an auto include. I don't actually think that, but I do think there should be a discussion maybe around could they go back into mains. I think if we see more blue, it's not worth it though. Like it just dies. You know, like you just perilous position it and it's gone. You make it. Well, I saw 0 make an opening, but you know, I did see they did have perilous position in the Kira deck, I think. So those were the changes. I will tell you, you know how many times I saw Victor Leader this weekend? Less than 10.
You
Less
don't need
than
it.
10. Yeah, I guess not. Yeah. Well, that's what it felt like because I just one game I pulled 3 of them in my opening hand. And it's like, what do? Do you keep it then? Like I have a turn 1 play, 3 Victor 3s, and No Good to Me Dead, and a surprise strike. Like I think you have to ship that hand. Like, but then I felt dumb because I didn't see a Victor 3 again. Or Victor Leader, sorry. Again. So this is what I faced. The first round I played a Mace red deck, which was not Tarkin Town, just Mace red straight up. The guy actually ended up making top 64 that day. Or the next day, and he ended up dropping after his first game loss, but he ended up getting the Mace Showcase. So like, good on him. Like that was his goal. He wanted a Mace Showcase. And I will tell you, he told me he never saw unlimited power, and that was the big thing. Like he had unlimited power in his deck, and I was like, I don't know. Like by the time you hit 6 resources, I guess it becomes like super impactful, but like. I won every game by 6 to 7 or like, but by the time he flipped his mace, I could just do something to it. So, I don't know. Like, I don't know if his deck just didn't go off or if my deck just is a good counter to that. I have no idea. The next one I played was a Cad Green, not ECL, just standard Cad Green. And that unfortunately kind of felt like an easy win. I don't know if my opponent, he ended up making day 2 actually. My opponent did. So like, I mean, his deck does work. It just, I didn't like playing against CAD, but like against his CAD, like it didn't do a lot. Like I was able to build a board both games, and it just kind of like went downhill. I think for him pretty quickly. Like he was able to do some McClunky shenanigans game 2, and then he started to race me, and it became a little bit more concerning. But you know, an OB on a clone squadron kind of fixes that. So when you can clear their CAD off the board in another unit, that's not good usually for them. My third game was Quinlan Tarkentown, and I lost. I lost the first round, won the second, lost the third, and I don't know 100% like if it was some misplays, if I was a little nervous. But they had more space units than Quinlan I've never seen in Quinlan. Like this guy had space units like you wouldn't believe. So, and he did afterwards tell me he did tech a little bit for this because he knew people running Vader yellow and thought that it would be a thing at this tournament. So he had more space units because of that. He also made day 2 with his deck. And it was funny because he used to be from a podcast called Arrowbrook Gaming from Destiny days. Like, so I don't remember what his name was off the top of my head, but he had an Arrowbrook Gaming that, and I was like, oh, okay. Like I kind of know, like I've heard of that podcast. I don't think I listened to it, but I kind of know what it is. So that was a hard fought loss. I was pretty depressed after that one, to be honest with you. Cause usually I don't lose that hard to Quinlan. But the fourth one, my game was against the Sabine ECL, and game 1 was no contest. Game 2 came down to the fact that I had a couple of outmaneuvers and some OBs, and I was able to stop him long enough to stop the game 3. So there's that. Game 5 was Gar yellow, and I'll be honest, I don't think with Vader yellow I've ever lost to a Gar yellow ever. I don't know why. I can't actually tell you why. I just have not lost to a Gar yellow. So, but yeah, that game, the first game again was like pretty heavy. I win. The second game was a little bit harder. He had some hotshot blasters, and I was able to sneak the last damages through I needed. Before that, then I played an Asajj Data Vault, which was a control deck. This guy's going to come on our podcast at some point. We're going to talk some Asajj. Nice. I loved his deck. Like I actually am very tempted to build that. Like I love Kira. Don't get me wrong, but man, this deck was like Kira, but like when Asajj comes out, it could just do things. I lost the first game because of snow. He was able to get snow down. The second game, I raced harder and was fine. The third, and he didn't see any ramp, so that was part of the third game. He only saw one ramp, and then I still was able to kind of close it out before he could get enough damage in. But that guy will come. We will have an Asajj conversation because I'm excited for the next set. What Asajj is actually going to be. I actually think Asajj gets better with all the force crap coming out next set, and I actually think she's going to get better because of it.
Yeah, there's a couple locals. Local being they're on Howl, so it's a little bit further away from me. They've been running like green and Data Vault Asajj, and it's just like, yeah, I get it. It's blue green control Asajj, chuck her on a Banshee, and she just wreaks havoc on everything.
Yeah, it can be really bad. Especially, I think, into aggro. I think that's where I think that's his sweet spot. But again, when we meet with him, we'll actually talk about it. Can you run Asajj in any other color, and like what's the best color for her? Because I just kind of want to play Asajj now. I think I just kind of like, I don't know. After that game, I just really want to play Asajj now. I don't know.
You can drop super laser tech and then immediately kill it with Asajj's ability.
You can. He did that.
It's silly.
Yep, did that to me. Like I was like, why are you? Oh, I know why you're killing it. I was like, God damn it, you're just gonna ramp. Okay,
just do whatever I want. Yeah.
The seventh game, I don't know how much I should say, but the seventh game was against a Poe ECL. Yeah. I got the first game I handily took. Then they came up and wanted to do a deck check. And I had a dual deck box. One side had my Vader deck, and the other side had my Trench deck. Now, earlier in the day, around round 3 or 4, I gave cards out of my Trench deck to another player in front of a judge, unsleeved them in front of the same judge, and gave it to this guy. I had my deck box, everything was there. And anyway, long story short is I had the promo cards that we had gotten for VIPs in my box, as well as my trench deck, fully sleeved in a whole different set of sleeves though. And they told me because that I should have presented my sideboard to my opponent ahead of time and told them this is my sideboard because I had other cards in my deck. Now, I don't know very many people that can get away with unsleeving cards to re-sleeve them when they're completely different card sleeve. Like one's Akbar, one's Grievous. They are different sleeves. But because I couldn't prove and my opponent said he didn't remember me presenting my sideboard, even though I took my sideboard out, I literally took my sideboard out and set it on the table and then moved it to the top of my box because that's what I like to do is I like to keep my sideboard there so I can immediately sideboard in my stuff. But because I opened my box, it took part of the sideboard that I had taken out and put it inside of the box. I was given a game loss. I guess that's the rule. So if you go to an event, do not take a double deck box. Just actually, I'll be honest with you. If I could sell mine, I'm just going to sell it. I don't care. Like I'm done. Like that's just, I argued with the judge. I asked for a head judge. I had a whole conversation with them how asinine this rule is. Like I would understand if there was a whole like deck of unsleeved cards in there. I get it then. I 100% understand that. But every card is sleeved in a different sleeve. Like, well, like come on, like you. But it's because they don't want the opponent to have to feel like they have to watch you when you sideboard. So you can only use the cards in that you are supposed to be in your box for your deck. So I won't lie and say I was pretty frazzled. And then I had some really bad draws, and he ended up winning by like 5 health. And so because I was given a game loss, he won the round. So.
Yeah, I remember that. I felt for you, bro, because that sucked.
Yeah,
that really sucks.
Yeah, the worst is like the opponent had the ability to just say that he saw the sideboard or could have just done it and he didn't. And you know, I guess I'm not going to throw shade on anybody. We're going to talk when I get to day 2. We'll actually talk about another deck incident that happened to my opponent, and I fought for him because I felt bad for him. I did not want to win that way. Like that's not fair in my opinion for it. But anyway, I took a game loss and then I lost the 3rd round for that one. And then I went on to play an Obi Data Vault, and I don't think he'd ever played against a Vader before. So I genuinely usually don't like seeing Obi Data Vault, but I don't think he knew how to play against Vader because both those games went pretty quickly for me. And so yeah, then I made day 2. And then my day 2, my first round was against a mirror match. And somebody in the same Discord that knew what my list was already. So you want to know what game went to time? That game. Those are the only games that went to time. Just so you know ahead of time.
I'm kind of impressed by that, actually. Like,
yeah.
Why did that go to time?
Because in a mirror match, you're trading. Like, we traded so many times.
Sure.
It just took forever. Well, we did have an issue where we had to call a judge, and like, so it took like them like 5 minutes to fix the issue. But we both missed the trigger with his Victor leader, and so I killed one of his ships to uncapture a ship of mine, and it shouldn't have died. And then he used Mining Guild Tie and drew a card, and then he shuffled the cards in his hand. So then it's like, which card is it? You know, and so what the judge essentially did is I picked a random card and put it back on the top of his deck. And then we just kind of reversed the scenario. And then I decided instead of swinging into the ship that I couldn't kill, I swung into his base. So I will say he won the first game because of that, probably. The second game, I won very handily. The third game, like, it was literally just like we were attacking each other back and forth. And then, like, he had enough to be able to kill 3 of my ships in one turn. And that just was the end of it for me. I couldn't do anything. So
it always seemed like whoever just drew the clone squadron first would just win. But maybe not the case.
Yeah, you would think that. And neither one of us saw OB all 3 games. None of us had
well,
OB the whole
That would be
games.
why your games went to time. Never mind.
Yep.
Okay.
We didn't like
Could have just started with that.
yeah, there you go. I didn't even resource the OB. Like we just never saw it. We each run 3 of them. So like it just didn't exist for us. So I do think he thought I was crazy because I flipped my Vader on the ground, which actually I do that. I don't know if this is like an Alex rub off of hanging out with Alex too much. Doing something your opponent just doesn't ever expect, and then that wins you games that you shouldn't win. Like I don't know if it's you who've rubbed off on me, but I flip my Vader on the ground more often than not. Outside of like the OB match, obviously I did not do that.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it works.
Yeah, people don't know what they get very confused why your Vader is on the ground all of a sudden. It's like, well,
I did that too in my playthroughs, and people are like, I had a guy, I made him pass 7 turns in a row because I had that many plays, and then he was just hanging on to his single bamboozle on his card, and I'm like, okay, and now deploy Vader on the ground. They're like, oh, yeah. Claim.
I don't need those TIE fighters, sir. I'm swinging it in.
Exactly, like that's what it was. Or I throw them on the ground and then use the OB for it. And yes, it's a little bit less damage, but like at least you can't bamboozle, like, or you can bamboozle them, but it doesn't do anything. I still go OB. Yeah. It doesn't put them away. So like,
and it's still
it's still a 7 damage Vader on the ground with OB. Like it's still really useful. Like it's great.
Yeah. So my 10th game was against a Kylo Tarkatown. Yes, I had to face both the top cut Kylo Tarkatown. Somehow, I have no idea how that happened. But yeah, so the first game he won pretty easily. I didn't see much of anything. We sideboarded in, and guess what? The judges came over and wanted a jet check again. And I looked, and it's the same guy from the day before. And I looked at him, I was like, man, you did this to me yesterday. But I had already like gone down to 1 deck pod. Like I had multiple deck pods with me. So I just switched all my stuff out and put it in one. So I didn't have to like run into the same issue again. Well, it took them 10 minutes. They come back and my opponent's just sitting there and I look at them and then all of a sudden they're like, they pull them aside and I was like, oh, fuck. Like, what happened now? I'm going to get screwed again. Did I somehow miss a card? Well, he had 1 less card in his deck than he was supposed to. So he was running a 49 card deck. So I felt bad for him. I was like, oh, come on. You guys cannot give him a game loss for that. Like, that felt bad. And you know what the card was? It was aggression too. So it's not like a card you would cut to like make your deck like better. Like that's a card in that deck you don't ever get rid of. Like you must have that card. And so, yeah, they gave him a game loss. And I asked them, I was like, hey, I'm fine if you don't give him a game loss and we just play the game like normal. And they said they couldn't do that, I guess. So, and he was pretty disheartened after that, I think. And I think that's probably why I won that second game pretty easily, is because at that point I think he just had resigned to give up at that point. Because he felt bad. And I was like, hey, man, don't worry about it. I was like, I told him my story. Like we're sitting there laughing about my story. I was like, I mean, there you go. It's the same thing happened, except for, like you were just missing a card. Then I played Kira Data Vault, and it was this younger kid. I don't know how young he was, but his dad was there, and I guess his dad listens to the podcast, ironically enough. So
people listen to the podcast?
Yeah, like he's like, you're from Planning Phase, right? And I was like, yes, because I changed my name in Melee from Planning Phase to Tanner. That way, I didn't have to like explain to people why it said that. Like it was just easier. And anyway, so I played this kid, and he sat down. It was the same thing. Like he sat down. He's like, oh man, I'm not going to win this one. I'm like, you can't give up before you play the game. He's like, yeah, I just played a Vader 4 and I didn't do very well. I was like, it's fine. Just play it out. Like, let's play it out. And yeah, like it didn't go his way very, very easily. And then I found out he doesn't even run Snoke in his 60 cards. Oh. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, and not in your sideboard? Oh, okay. All right. Well, you might want to put Snoke in. That might be something you immediately do when you get home. But I don't think he had played very many games against Vader Yellow either. Like he did side in some like Sentinel type stuff the second game, but I could capture it, and it didn't really work out in his favor that well. And yeah, once I stuck a clone, I think I confused him a little bit because he flipped his Kira with no other units on the board, doing damage to my units, and of course I don't care because like I have no damage, and he had to. I assumed he had an OB, so I also had an OB, and I OB'd a 2 attack unit and killed his Kira. And he's like, "Oh, you spent 5 resources to do that?" I was like, "Yeah, well, I didn't want you to OB me, so I got rid of your Kira." He's like, so essentially, game 1 I just raced, and then game 2 I controlled. So I just switched my philosophy on how I was handling it, and figured that would be enough to kind of throw him off. And it did. Once I killed this Kira, then I felt really bad for him. I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what else you got, but hopefully you get something." And then like every time he put a unit down, I would just kill it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take longer for the game. Just hope you don't have Snoke is what I'm gonna do. And then my last round was against a Kylo Red Tarkaton, who also happened to be his testing buddy, or part of his group was the other Kylo Tarkaton, ironically enough. I feel very bad that I lost this game. He drew every round. He drew 2 fallen lightsabers within the first 2 turns. I do not know how that happened, but he was able to lightsaber somebody on turn 2 and turn 3 every single game. And like, there's not much you can do against like a unit that stings in for 6 plus you just can't control the board that much. It's just almost impossible. But that game, yes, I did win because I got a clone Horgent down, and I flipped Vader on the ground, and he had nothing that could take Vader out. So I was just able to OB and clear his board. I just swung into his board and controlled him, and then just did small damage. The game I won. The last game, I was doing very well, except for I had to eat one. I didn't get a capture unit or a tap down unit in one of my hands, and I couldn't do anything about his freaking Mr. Bones with a lightsaber on it. And so I was able to I ended up the last turn, like my Vader flip turn, I was able to no good to me. Oh no, he swung in with Kylo, and I was able to capture his Mr. Bones. And the only other unit he had on board was Fifth Brother. And I had lethal on board. Like I had Clone Squadron, I had Victor, I had lethal on board. All I had to do is flip Vader in case he had something to kill Vader. And he swung in and put me at 2 damage on base. And I was like, he's got no other units. Unless he has a daring raid, I win. And he had a Ruthless Raider in hand.
That'll do it too.
I was like, oh. And the worst part about that whole thing was not him. He was a great opponent. Actually, he was a really nice guy, and all that. But the worst part about the whole thing is the guy I lost to in my 9th round. He was another Vader yellow player, and he had I thought he had a better record than me. So I'll be honest, when I played the Kylo Tarkaton, I was just like, I'm not going to get the showcase. He drew his last round. If I had won, I would have got the showcase. So I was like, because I just figured because he beat me, like even if we ended up with the same record, he'd win. But he drew, so he didn't even if I had won and he had won, he still would have got it. But because he drew, I would have been 9-3, and he would have been 8-2-2, and I would have got the showcase. So
damn,
I'm a little bummed about my performance in that last round, but
it happens, man.
What do you do? So that was my run.
So for me, we'll start off at round 1. This was the shortest game of school I've ever played in my life. So I faced off against a Sabine ECL, and by round 2, 10 minutes had elapsed on the game timer, and my opponent just conceded. Essentially, I was able to. The first game, my opponent was just unlucky and had no space units whatsoever, so I was able to ramp on my space side really, really fast. I had about 9 TIE fighters by the time round 4 came about, and I just overflooded his side and just took him out. Round 2, I subbed in and put in the Phantom in there, and I gave it an experience point. And then on turn 6, I had Vader deployed onto it, and then I held an OB on my side. At this point, my opponent only had 7. He had 5 damage on his base, and Vader became a 12 with OB. And then he just said, "You know what? I concede." Picked up his board and left. I'm like, okay, sure. So I had a lot of spare time after that. That was probably the fastest I've ever beat a Sabine, but I just feel bad. Like he just couldn't get the space draws, and when he did, I either captured it immediately with the Sanctioner shuttle, or it just died to like the slew of TIE fighters. So my round 2 opponent was against a Quinlan Voss with Tarkentown. That one was definitely a tough matchup. I ended up going 2-1 loss on that one. This was my first experience where I couldn't get a good opening hand. Like my opening hand was like a bunch of threes and then or like higher, or like I would have like no one drops. And the one win that I got was when I finally got my one drops in the beginning, and I was able to get a good enough start on my opponent to win that damage race. But ultimately, like if you don't have a good starting hand to start building up, they'll just kill your unique units, like non-token units, quickly, and that kind of stalls out how fast you can build up your deck. So round 3 was against a Boba Fett, green Boba Fett, most precisely build. Same deal. I was able to ramp up really fast on the space side there. He did try to he bamboozled my Vader on the turn that I deployed him that first time. I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait because now I know you have that. And so he ended up winning that first round, and then the second round, that's where he literally just passed 7 times in a row, waiting for me to attack with all my ties slowly, and then just deployed Vader on his side, and he now had a useless overwhelming barrage or useless bamboozle that he could have used on like my Victor 3 or Victor 2, to at least reduce some of the damage. But because he allowed me to get all my ties in and damage in there, I was able to just put out a lot of units, and he already had attack with his ground units. So he had no way of damaging my Vader. And then I was able to swing in and deal damage and win the game there, and ended up getting my second win for that one there. Round 4, I faced off against a Data Vault Luke Skywalker. Again, same thing. Like my opponent just wasn't prepped for how fast the list can deploy. He did have some restore capabilities that I had to deal with, and I was able to luckily get enough damage through with all the ties that came in, that I was outpacing his restore capability, and he didn't really have any space units to really counter anything. He did do a couple of perilous positions on a couple of my units there, but it just wasn't enough to stop the swarm that was coming in there. So I was able to win that one 2-0. Round 5 was against a Vader face-off. It was the set 1 Vader with Data Vaults versus mine. It was a red ramp deck. The first time that I won that round, my opponent was like, "Oh, so you have nothing but pure space. So I guess I'm gonna have to sub in some bombing runs." And at one point, I had 9 TIE fighters out, and he decides to bombing run my entire board. My entire side is wiped out. I deploy a I forget the one transport that helps exhaust the leader. He responds by deploying a Death Star Stormtrooper. I deploy my Vader and then we end up claiming. I deploy Vader on my next round onto the trooper. He deploys his Vader. I do an overwhelming barrage on mine, and then I wipe out his entire ground side. He was not expecting me to have an overwhelming barrage, like just waiting in my hand. And because I wiped out his side, he had no way to recover from that. And the best part was that earlier in the game, I had captured his super laser technician to prevent him from ramping. So it was like the ramps came in too late, so he wasn't able to get them out there sooner. So I was able to win that one there 2-0. And that gave me my third win, which I was super, super proud of, because I finally got my third win in a tournament. So I was super happy. The next round, though, was against Anakin Skywalker with Colossus Station. That I could not get. I kept on mulliganing for my life. Like I could not get a good starting hand. There was on the first round, I had to skip my first round because I literally had nothing to play out of my hand, out of like 2, like after drawing and doing a mulligan. And the second turn, I just could not get enough offense going. because he had the ability to just take out my units out there. I ended up going 3-3. I ran over to go sign up for the side event, which was another premier event, and they had 3 rounds going on over there, which I'll go for that one here. So that one I had my first round against a Piet deck, a Piet red deck. And that was actually a lot of fun. This was my first deck that was really dedicated for space units. And it was a bit challenging because he did have some aspects of ramp in order to get Piet up and start deploying some of the larger capital ships. So the ball was really in my court to try to push the damage as much as possible in order for me to try to win that particular face-off. I lost my first round because he managed to get out Devastator, and I just did not have enough firepower to take on the Devastator and win the round. The second time around, I did finally manage to outpace him, and I learned my lesson the first time, just waiting for him to deploy his Piet, because the first round I allowed his Piet to stay out there, and he was able to deploy his larger capital ships much faster. The second he had Piet out there, I just had an overwhelming barrage ready to knock out Piet to kill that buff, and I was just able to control the board from there. And those frozen and carbonites just came in super, super handy in that round. Just being able to freeze some of his units, and then I was able to win my next 2. And then my round after that, I faced off against a Von Reg deck. That was probably my toughest matchup that I had for the day, because it was another space heavy deck that was low to the ground. And he was able to pull out his TIE Silencer, the TIE Silencer card first round, and then also have the Major Von Reg TIE Interceptor card as well, and then deploy Von Reg onto that and just deal massive amounts of damage from early on. And he was kept on winning that damage race where I couldn't quite deploy big enough units in order to contest it. I lost the first round and then managed to win the next 2 by skillfully using a lot of exhaust and capture techniques, just making sure that I kept my sanctioner shuttles on hand so that way I can capture his silencer cards to prevent Von Reg from coming out. And then, or whenever he played another unit and I didn't have a sanctional shuttle, I would use Frozen and Carbonite. At one point in our third game, I managed to Frozen and Carbonite 2 Ruthless Raiders to prevent them from being used at all, which is really great. And then
such a great card. I don't know why people don't run Frozen.
Hilariously,
it's so good.
My Vader leader managed to put in 15 damage to his base. Because he had no ground units whatsoever. So it was hilarious to see my pilot Vader just go to the ground and just smash into the base that round. And then finally, my last round was against a Quinlan Tarkentown matchup again. This one also very fast paced. Just was able to get my side up and running faster than my opponent could. They were very, very close. There was a difference of about like 5 health in both of the games. But I ended up winning my last round and going 3-0 for that particular event. So that brings my total wins for the day 6-3 technically. So Chris did have the same amount of wins for day 1 as me, but I just had one more loss. But yeah.
I'm glad you had a deck that you
Heck
enjoyed,
yeah,
because you just picked it up, right? Because a couple days playing that deck.
Yeah.
So it's a good job.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it kind of shows the power, and it's funny because I have a local, and he told me. When I was debating this for Richmond last month, he told me this would never be a good deck, and then I beat him local. Like I lost the first 3 or 4 games, and then beat him locally, and after that, he still will not concede that it's a good deck, even though more Vaders made top day than Sabine's did. So, I don't know. It's fun. I like this deck. I don't know. It's a little out of my realm, though. I really want to kind of go back to control. I miss my control. So, I will tell you a funny story. We were on the way home. We had a 12-hour drive. So while we were driving home, everybody gives me shit for running that trench deck. So I was running it with them in the car on my phone. I was playing on my phone and like telling them play by play what they were doing and what I was doing. You know how many rage quits I had? 7 throughout the night. So in the 3 hours I played, I had 7 rage quits. So
see, your locals just hate you. Apparently, mine are just like, I hate that deck, but I respect you.
Yeah,
I got a new deck that I just started earlier this week. That's really, really fun and pretty cool. I might bring it to the showdown this weekend.
Nice.
Oh, you guys got a showdown this weekend?
Yeah, not apparently. Like I knew about it, I just totally forgot because I didn't remember, despite it that it's May 4th. So Star Wars Day, right? So I was like, oh,
what are you
that's
bringing
right.
then?
It's looking like I'm bringing mono blue like security complex Ray.
All right,
Which is out of nowhere, but I just played it for the past couple days, and I'm like, oh, this is just
fun,
silly. Yeah. Well, look, I got Hondo. It's your favorite character. He's in the deck because he's double blue.
I know, that's amazing. And like,
do you know what? Sabine players can't play when I have Hondo out.
Darksaber?
Yeah, it's great because then Hondo just has the Darksaber.
That's hilarious. That's funny. Oh man, you gotta send me that deck. I want to build that deck to take to locals now.
But with Ray, because you're just dumping out experience, Hondo can shift the experience around. Mm-hmm. So you can like put it on things that have more than 3 attack, and then like restock it with Ray. Right? You just swing with Yoda, who's at a 3. Swing with Hondo, pull the experience off Yoda, and then use Ray, put the experience back on Yoda. Also, I have Nebula Ignition, so it just kills everything that doesn't have upgrades. But most of that deck has upgrades.
And with Hondo moving things around.
Yes, also, you haven't lived until Hondo is just moving perilous positions around.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
It's so funny. Yeah, sorry for the side tangent, but I figured I might as well get some sort of... You guys did a bunch of cool stuff. I did a cool thing.
You and your scummy decks, I tell you,
I know. I'll send it to you. It's wild. It's really fun.
Yeah, that does sound fun. I've been like debating on starting to try to make Akbar my main just for the hell of it. After you sent me that list, like
the list is wild.
I just like maybe I should just play because I don't know. Like, do I like? I'm tempted to go to Minnesota just so you like. I don't know if you're going or not.
I need money.
Okay. But I'm kind of tempted to go. It's just on my birthday weekend, and I don't know. Like, I don't really want to ditch the whole family to do that. But like, man, this was a fun weekend, and I really kind of want to go play again. But I don't know if I want to play Vader anymore. Like, am I allowed to like just not play Vader anymore and just go find another deck? like no. I helped make Vader popular. Now I don't want to play it anymore. Screw this. Like, let's go find something else and play.
That was that right deck's just really fun. It's just a lot of like, I throw this village protectors down. You have to swing into it. I security complex the shield back on it. You have to swing into it again. I swing Hondo and move his shield onto the village protectors. You have to go into it again. I play Cargo Juggernaut. I put that shield from there with Hondo and put it back on my Sentinel.
Yuck.
Yeah, it's a lot of just stonewalling things. It's great.
All right, well, let's actually talk about Richmond. I'm not going to promise we're going to go over in detail every list, but we are going to talk about the strategies behind the list. And then, like, I don't know, I found a bunch of lists in the top. I don't know. I like all of this, like, fresh meta. I don't know what it is. Like, I was like very scared going into Richmond, but I picked a deck I felt confident in that I felt would do decently well and give me a good shot at it. And it was something that not everybody knew about, but I guess people knew about it more than I thought they would, because I didn't get the showcase. I thought I was good. That would be like an easy showcase winner, right? Like who else is going to run Vader Yellow? But I guess lots of people ran Vader Yellow. So that was harder, but like I feel the meta is open. Or at least I felt the meta was pretty open. Like JJ said, you can see I played almost something different every single round until I hit top 64. And that feels good. That's to me, that's a kind of a sign of a healthy meta. But why don't let's get into our Chaos of War and actually talk a little bit about what happened at Richmond this weekend. Welcome to our Chaos of War. Tonight, we're going to be breaking down Richmond, talking about what happened, what the fun stuff was, list breakdowns. As you can see, Sabine's the winner. Ironically enough, my local played the Sabine in a mirror match before Top Cut. So like during day one, they played each other. And it was kind of funny. We talk about it. It's like, well, he went 2-1. Or Will went 2-1 against them, and like what would have happened if the individual had just had a little bit better of a draw or something and could have won that game, because Will went pretty much undefeated. Like, I mean, I think he had one loss or something like that till he hit the Top Cut. Also, Quinlan made a big showing. If you didn't know, Quinlan came in second. So here's kind of the breakdown percentage-wise. SWU Competitive Hub, if you do not know what that is, you 100% should. Like, that is... This website has gotten a lot better than it had before with it.
Yeah, a lot more stuff gets broken down, right? It's more like granular data, right? From what it seems. And I know that's right up your alley.
Yep. This feels like when we were working with that guy that was helping us with the X-Wing stuff. Like, I really want to get involved with whoever runs this. So if you are listening to the show and you know the guy who runs this website, like, get him in touch with me. I want to know what's going on. Like, I want to talk to this guy. But as you can see, the meta felt very healthy, right? Like, I don't know, Alex, I guess you're not there, so your opinion probably matters a little bit more than mine does. Like, this feels a very healthy. So day one, Sabine only made 10% of the meta. Voss was 9%. Cad was 7%. Han was 7%. Anakin, 6.5%. Luke, 6.5%. Vader, 4.5%. Piat, 4.2%. Gar Saxon, 4.2%. Kira, almost 4%. Like you could kind of see like the trend. Like, nothing hit over 10% of the meta, which I think is good, right? And there's like,
yeah, which is obscene for like the card game, right? Where one deck is not even 10% of the decks that are brought.
Yeah. So I like this. This is cool. Like, obviously the Luke and the Vaders, they're kind of showcase hunting, right? Like that I will
definitely inflated for showcases.
Yes, I will say that like the Luke Data Vault decks like are not bad. Those are not actually bad decks though. Those are still even after the Jango ban, those are still pretty good decks. Yeah. I know they did better into the Jango meta, but, like, I still think they have quite a bit of legs. Vader we hadn't really seen, though one of the guys took Vader to top 64. So, I mean, there's that. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of tempted.
My locals. There's data vault Vaders everywhere.
Everybody's practicing to win that showcase, I guess.
Like, well, not even just, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, we had 5 out of 8 players playing data vault. And 3 of them were Vaders or something like that. It's wild.
Yeah, data vault is becoming a bigger thing, and we probably won't talk about that too much tonight, but maybe that'll be like part of our episode in a week or two. I do think it's interesting, because like eventually ECL is going to rotate out, right? Like, it does rotate out, and everybody used ECL, and now all of a sudden, oh hey, look, we got data vault, so we got Colossus, and I think some of these bases are becoming more popular than we thought. If you move on to day 2, Quinlan had a very overly healthy percent of 17. Yeah, 17%. Kira, 14%. Han came in at 12. Sabine, 12. 10% for Cad Bane. And look, there's Vader at 6.3, baby. That's exciting. Love that. And then it kind of just... Data. We are Vader. And then it kind of drops off from there. You could see a little bit of the other stuff. There is a Dooku deck, which we're gonna cover that deck because I wish I had played against that guy. I don't know. Like I was so excited when I got to play against some of the deck, certain types of decks. It's like, oh, I've not played against this before. Ooh. So this next, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's interesting to see how some decks underperformed. Like Anakin dropped down, almost 3.5%. And Piet dropped to not
0.
even in there. Yeah. So it's interesting how Gar Saxon even dropped like 3, but like Kira jumped, 11 points or whatever that is. So it's interesting to see like what overperformed relative to what was brought and what like underperformed.
Yeah. And so Kira's the obvious winner of that. Like she was the one that went up, I think the most, and then Quinlan was like the second one, right?
Yeah.
So
I would assume, yeah. And there's like, Han, Red Han from the second set, not even in it's in the 19% of other things that people brought, but now it's like 3% of top 64, which is really cool.
Yeah. So it looks like Mace must have been the only deck, or if there was more Maces, like they were just that underperforming. But this chart talks like what Alex is talking about. That's what this chart is showing. Is like you could see the difference between Kira. The Kira difference is just like, oh my gosh, Han. I don't think we didn't think Han wouldn't be good. Like I think, Han in a good.
I think he's a solid deck still.
Yeah.
I would take green over yellow right now, but that's me.
I would too, and more greens showed better. There was one yellow guy, that sat by me that did pretty well. But you could kind of see in here like where some of the changes are. Like Kylo Ren did really well. But I think if we talk about it again, it's a segment of people that play together. They all took the same type of deck, right? And then that's how you get good. You have people that you practice with that play similar decks, kind of exceed expectations. The funny thing is Anakin made top cut, but Anakin is down, representation. And I will tell you that I know JJ struggled against Anakin. I don't struggle against Anakin almost ever.
So it looks like he was the 5th most popular leader, right?
Yeah.
So wild that it's just like way down there in terms of performance.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think these are interesting. This is gonna shape the meta for Minnesota and for next weekend for Italy. I will be very interested to see if we see similar statistics or if somebody is able to find something. If we know Kira and Quinlan and Han are the big bad guys, like I think teching against Sabine is just standard, right? Like you don't really tech against Sabine, you just tech against aggro, and usually she fits into that. Yeah. But teching against a Quinlan is a little bit different. And when you start teching against Quinlan, does your game against Kira and Cad get worse? And are we going to see more Cads? So this is the top sector. So as you can see, there was Phoenix, by the way, is the Anakin Blue. That also was an Arrowbrook Gaming gentleman. We talked a little bit about that earlier, but he's from Destiny. So I don't know him, but I kind of know, I know who he is just through playing in Destiny. But I was a little surprised with the Anakin beating the Han. I didn't think that happened usually, but it did. So
I mean, it's kind of weird, I guess. The problem with Anakin is if you don't have a way to deal with his leader decently, he just kind of wrecks everything.
Yeah.
So maybe they didn't have the cards that are able to deal with him, like they didn't have enough exhaust or something, or they got behind on board presence. Because Anakin just trades up really well, so maybe that happened. I don't know.
Yeah, as you can see, there was a Quinlan off. The guy that took the Quinlan, Mikkel, I think he was undefeated actually in Swiss.
I believe so.
So it's a little crazy to see him lose. He lost. Well, I guess we'll get into the list in a minute. But if you go back and watch the stream, it was essentially like timely interventions were like the end of that guy's world. So the Han beat out the Kira, which that's a little unusual. I've not seen that before. Usually, I would have thought kind of Kira had a little bit of an edge on Han. But
Green Han's pretty fast.
Yeah, Green Han can just really wreck your day. So
sometimes you just play Ewing reinforcement on turn 4, you know?
Yeah.
That's tough to deal with.
So then here's kind of the breakdown first through second. We'll skip past that. Let's get into this is the Sabine deck. Very standard Sabine deck minus the fact that they only had 2 Chewies. And they ran 2 Timelies main deck, which they had been doing that, by the way, before. That's not like a new invention. That was something they used to do, but for whatever reason, people went away from that. So I don't know, Alex, do we want to cover every deck like in detail? I don't know if we need to or not.
I mean, we should at least cover the winning deck, right? Regardless of how much we have to say about it.
All right, JJ, I'm going to give you the privilege. You can run off the winner of this Sabine ECL deck.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is Sabine ECL here. So we got 2 copies here: Metal Ceremony, 3 Rebel Assaults, 2 Timely Interventions, 3 Battlefield Marines, 2 Green Squadron A-Wings, 3 Luke Skywalker's pilots. We got 3 copies of the Phoenix Squadron A-Wings, 3 Sabine Wrens, 3 Cassian Andors, 3 Fleet Lieutenants, 3 Sabine's Masterpieces, 2 Sundari Peacekeepers, 2 Wing Leaders, 3 For a Cause I Believe In, 3 K2SOs, 2 Darksabers, 2 Chewbacca's, 3 Poe Damerons, and 3 Wreckers. And then in the sideboard, we have 2 Confiscates, 2 Bright Hopes, 1 additional Sundari Peacekeeper, 3 Fighters for Freedom, and then the last one is Heroic.
Heroic Sacrifice.
Yeah, Heroic Sacrifice. There we go. That's the word I can read. So definitely a nice mix-up for the kind of new standard Sabine decks that we've seen. You have a lot of different options here between having the Timely Interventions and Cassians in your deck to then smuggle out for when you need them. They can be very, very useful when you need those extra units on there. Of course, Darksaber is always great with Sabine on there. And then having that Wing Leader as well as space units to not only at least provide you some presence on the space side, but also giving out experience units to your Rebel units, especially Sabine when she deploys. Having a Wing Leader there to help buffer along with a Darksaber can make her extra deadly on there. And then also having that Fleet Lieutenant to further buffer up, and the Sundari Peacekeepers to give you that restore to keep your base health up while you're setting up for that big attack can be really, really good. It's interesting to see not having any real saboteurs in this particular list, since you do have to still contend with some sensible units that can slow you down. And on top of that, you don't have really any overwhelm here, but you do have quite a lot of different options here to really push damage through. And if your opponent's not ready for the fast pace that this can play, they're going to have a hard time. So well done coming in and winning the event.
Yeah, I don't have outside the Timelies. I mean, Timelies won him, I think, like the game. So I don't have anything else to say. I think Timely is going to push people to start bringing Scanning Officer. So welcome to running Scanning Officer again.
I'm actually surprised that Fighters for Freedom isn't a main deck on here because it's just so good with Sabine, and you have a decent amount of red cards on here. But I get having the Sundari Peacekeepers is really good to just keep your health up when you're. Yeah, I
think the Sundari Peacekeepers are a must, right? Like I think the problem is this deck has not enough space for everything. I think if Chewbacca didn't exist, you would see that those Fighters for Freedom in there. But because Chewbacca is a thing, he's kind of hard thing to ignore. Those Fighters for Freedoms are super good though against blue decks.
Yeah.
Yep. They ruin my village protectors. That's so sad.
Yep. They don't. Your village protectors just cry a little bit.
They show up.
And then they cry.
Yeah,
All
and
the
then they're
village, the
gone.
village people are the village people cry when the freedom fighters show up. So they
Well,
must be
should've
on
went
the wrong
west.
side.
Should have went west.
All right. Runner up was the Quinlan, Voss, Tarkentown. Alex, what is that deck?
Yes, Quinlan, Tarkentown, kind of hyped up to be like, hey, this is the next like big thing, right? This particular one is running triple Force Throw, triple the Hotshot Blasters, triple Crafty Smuggler, triple the Green Squadron A-Wings, triple L3, triple Sabine, double Bamboozle, triple Spark of the Rebellion, double Surprise Strike, triple Cassian, double main deck Disabling Fang Fighters, triple Gorilla, the Gorilla Soldiers, the indirect damage one. If you take it to base, they ready up. That's pretty cool. You don't typically see that too much in Quinlan. Triple of the 3-cost Yellow Falcon, triple Ahsoka, triple Kira, triple Plo, double of the 6-cost Yellow Falcon, and then triple Han Solo. In the sideboard, you got double Greedo, double Open Fire, 1 Tech, 1 Cunning, double the Shadow Tanks, 1 Change of Heart, and 1 Mace Windu. Just have a bunch of one-offs, I guess. From my understanding, the Shadow Tank is mostly in for Sabine because, being a 5/3, Sabine can't run into that, and it's a Sentinel can drop on her turn. But other than that, it's just it's a little bit interesting that they have the triple Force Throws, but their Force units are like Ahsoka, Plo, and Quinlan himself. You don't have like Ezra's here, which you would see occasionally. But it's it's Quinlan Tarkentown, right? Like, what do you expect? It's a lot of hand hate, a lot of just kind of hope your opponent doesn't have the answers and just start swinging in with very efficient units.
Yeah, and there's no pillage. Notice that, no pillage at all. Not even in the sideboard. So
I haven't seen a lot of pillages in Quinlan Tarkentowns, honestly.
Yeah, I haven't seen any.
I think they replaced them for like jam communications if they're still trying to go after the hand.
I think that I think a lot of players have realized that with the amount of aggro that's out there, and it's more valuable for you to have more units out as a presence on the board now, rather than to pillage later in the game and set yourself behind in the damage race. So I think that's why we're seeing less and less pillage or like card discard for being in the main deck for a lot of these type of decks.
if only it wasn't red. If it was blue, I would run it daily.
Run an entrench?
Yes.
Why not?
Yeah. So, all right, this was the Han Solo green. I love the AT-AT hauler, man. That's definitely something that a lot of Hans have not ran. I love seeing it in this deck. A little surprised there's only 2 blue leaders, but essentially this is like 1 Confiscate, 3 Hotshot Blasters, 3 L337s, 1 Luke, 2 of the Phoenix, 3 Surprise Strikes, 2 blue leaders, 3 of each of the different Falcons at 3 costs, 3 AT haulers, 3 techs, 3 resupplies, 2 waylay, 2 Poe dammers, which I think that's a little bit different. We haven't seen a lot of Poe being played, especially in Han deck. 2 Kira, 3 Chewie, 3 Hans, 2 more of the 5 cost ambush Falcons, 1 Enfys Nest, 2 of the Han Solos, and 3 Ewing reinforcements, which means their top end is very limited comparatively. In their sideboard, they have 2 Salvage, 2 Confiscates, 2 of the Sparks, 2 Traitorous, and then 2 Home Ones, which I don't know why you don't have Home One in the main board, but that's fine. I did not come in third, so
yeah, I mean it's far more of a like not aggro style, but like let's push a lot of damage really early with like the AT haulers and the Falcons and all the pilots and all that. So I can see why they don't have like the top end, but also your Han, so you can get there faster.
Yep.
Do you need 3 techs? I mean, it's really good with Han and very good in hand destruction, but like Do you need a main board 3 techs? I don't know. We'll figure that out eventually. I think people are stuck in their old ways of habits.
Yeah, people like to have the ability. I mean, you're not going to play 3 techs if people all start running scanning officers, because it's going to ruin your day. Like, that's just the end of it. So I don't know. I actually kind of like this Han green list. Like, it is a little bit different than what we've seen. I won't say I believe in this confiscate that he has main deck. I'm sorry. Like, I don't believe that belongs there. But
Even
anyway,
at a one-off.
It is a one-off. The next one is Anakin Colossus. JJ, what is this list?
Yeah, so the next one here, Anakin Colossus, is very similar to what I ended up facing off against in my loss here. So we got 3 copies of R2-D2, we got 3 Force Throws, 1 Anakin's Interceptor, 3 C-3POs, that's a tongue twister. We got 3 Restored Arc 170s, 3 Sabine Wrens. We got 1 covering the wing, 3 Cassian Andors, 3 copies of, I can't read that for some reason. We got 2 Red 5s. We got 2 Red Squadron X-Wings. We got 3 Village Protectors, 2 Yodas, 2 Open Fires, 2 Jedi Lightsabers, 2 Perilous Positions, 2 Champs and Doulas, 2 Fel the Dragons, 2 copies of Poe Dameron, 2 of Bravado, and 3 Luke Skywalker ground units, and then lastly 1 Resolute there. And then the sideboard, we got 2 Concord Dawn Protectors, 2 Mandalorian Fang Fighters, 1 Open Fire, 1 additional Champs and Dula, 1 Takedown, and then 2 copies of the Great Dragon here. Overall, this feels very, very much mid-range, right? It has answers all around the way to really deal with a lot of different options or a lot of different threats that come about there. You got some pretty good low cost there. C-3PO and R2-D2 always really good to help you draw cards into your hand, always have your hand stocked there. Having Cassian in the Smuggle always gives you a unit to deploy later on that can be ready right immediately. You have a pretty great space presence there. And then, of course, you have Sentinel, which is what you need on the ground to help build up to your larger units there to finish off the game with your Poes and Lukes and the Resolute. And you have answers for your opponent's larger units with Fel the Dragon and Open Fire and such. It doesn't have a glaring weakness, but it also doesn't have a glaring strength either. So it's right in that middle part there. You can definitely have a lot of answers for a lot of decks. So really good.
Yeah, the resolution of this like image isn't very good. That those 3 cards are the Outer Rim Outlaws, the 3/3 for 3 shielded
Yes,
units,
that's it.
which are really big. I like this Anakin deck. A couple of like one-offs that I would probably swap around. The Resolute's pretty cute. I like that. If they drop that on U-Tanner, the game's over, right? Because they just blow up all your TIE fighters.
Everything's dead.
I really, really like the Champs and Doulas.
Yes.
I mean, sure, like occasionally, like if you're going against other ramp decks, it'll like actually ramp off of it. But I'm pretty sure this is in here because it's a 5/4 that you play on turn 3. And then when they flip something like Quinlan, you can just one-shot it with Anakin's ability because it swings up to 7.
Yep, it is 100%.
Yeah.
It's for the Quinlans.
Or other leaders kind of like that. Like that Luke has 7 health and
Sure,
Obi and all them. Yeah, and these 7 health leaders like that, which I like. And I like, hey, Cassian, he's a 3/5, very sturdy body. He can hit for 5 with Anakin's ability. Like you don't even have to. You can play him on 3 and not feel bad. The Outlaws, 3 shielded, so they swing for 5 and they just lose their shield. That's all. I like the trading. It's a little bit greedy with the double Jedi lightsaber, double bravado. That's going real greed, but which I respect. I love greed.
There's no Concord Dons here either, right? Like, holy crap!
I don't think you need Concord Dons. In Anakin, with the space units he has, because like whatever you drop, his units usually just they can trade up, right? Like. An arc swings for 4, which will kill pretty much everything. The red 5s do damage to damage units, which is nice. They can hit above their weight, and then you have a couple perilous positions, I guess, a couple force throws or whatever. I wouldn't say they're. I'd probably have him in the sideboard like he does. I don't think it's weird that he doesn't have the Concord Dawns, because essentially, like, most of your units are doing what Concord Dawn does.
I guess
in space.
This guy is all the Quinlan that I lost to. This is like they're teammates. They rode together. So like this is, you could tell there's some of this tech in here is for that Vader swarm type thing. That Resolute definitely is for that type of thing, right?
I love it. Yeah, because it costs one less for every 5 damage on your base, right? So if you have like 25 damage or whatever, that thing just costs 5. And then when played on attack, just 2 damage to an enemy unit and every other enemy unit that shares its name.
Yeah. Which
means multiple Falcons, which is kind of funny too.
Yep.
Because the names just care about the bolded names.
Yep. I'm not convinced those Concord shouldn't be main deck, but I can see your point. I guess I don't know. I can see your point in behind some of it, but I do like that deck. We did have a Han Yellow sneak in there. This is definitely a little bit different. I don't know. We hadn't seen a Han Yellow per se. Obviously, like Bamboozled is in there. I don't know. I guess I'll go through the deck, but Bamboozled's obviously in there for, pilot. Some of the pilot type things, and for leaders with upgrades on them, like the Sabines of the world, and even a Quinlan with a blaster is not super fun the next turn. So this one is a Han Yellow with 3 blasters, 3 of the crafties, 3 L337s, 2 Bamboozled, 2 Spark, 3 Surprise Strike, 2 Bodies, 3 Ezras, 3 of the Liberated Peoples, 3 of the Readied Falcon, 3 Techs, 3 Waylay, 2 Ahsokas, 2 Kiras, 3 of the Cunnings, 2 of the Cantina Bouncers, 2 Mandos, 2 of the 5-cost Falcon, 2 Emphies, and 2 Hans. The sideboard is like a bunch of extra one-ofs for everything, and then 2 of the Gamorrean Guards and 2 of the Leias, which I like the Leia include. I think that's great. I'm an exhaust guy, so I love Leia as well, and I think those are great. I would probably main board her, but that's just me. I've always liked Leia and Han.
It is nice to just like ready a resource when you got a bunch of low cost stuff like that too. Like kind of play Leia for 1 as long as you have 2 resources.
Yeah.
So you can like at 3 resources you can play 2 2s. That's really good.
Yeah.
Helps get a lot of stuff on the board. So
yeah, definitely. I definitely like it. I think I would also like include Leia in there. I gotta say though, the Millennium Falcon, the 3-cost one, I can't tell you how many of those I captured this weekend. It was the funniest thing. I loved it. It was great.
That's the best part about that card. The only time it matters is when Han plays it a turn early on your on your opener and then kills your opening. That's what sucks. But other than that, you're right. You want to put Chewie on there? I don't think so, baby.
Yeah, it's great.
So the next one is the Kira Green. So this is a KTOD list that they had been working on. This was actually probably my more serious backup list. Some of it's because I actually play Kira in other sets, and so like I have like a lot of familiarity with this set, so it's a little bit easier for me to pick this up and play it. This is not the heavy discard version that they were working on. This is kind of more of their just like softish control. They also KTUD also had a like more of a hard control style Kira Data Vault back in the day. I guess I'm personally not against Data Vault for the pure fact that I like to run heavier in my deck anyway. So that's just me personally. That base lends itself to Tanner's play style quite a bit. I don't know. So, Alex, what is this Kira deck?
Yeah, so it's a Data Vault Kira. So we got triple the Hebelon Enforcers, which, that will be in every Kira deck. Triple Pershing, double of the Inferno 4, and 1 Onyx Squadron Brute. Triple Pike Sentinel, double Death Trooper, triple the Super Laser Attack, triple Power of the Dark Side, triple Resupply, triple Childson, double Fell, double Takedown, triple Vigilance, triple of the Devastating Gunship. Good old Roomba there. Double No Glory, triple Overwhelming Barrage, double Traitorous, 1 copy of Rivals, triple Vader, triple Maul, triple Reinforcement Walker, triple Super Laser Blast, double Avenger, double Devastator. In the side, you have 3 copies of Top Target, the 3rd No Glory, triple Palp's Return, double Relentless, and 1 Annihilator, which I can respect.
Yep,
I mean,
I love
that's
it.
a really good sideboard. I like that sideboard a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were to put the 3rd copy of No Glory in there, what else you would side? Probably a 2nd Annihilator, I guess, or maybe like a 3rd Avenger, 3rd Devastator, or something like that. Or Snoke's. No Snoke in this list.
Yeah, that's like a thing. That's a thing now. Like people are just not running Snoke. I think it was a meta call. I think Snoke comes back in now. I mean, like, do you really need the 3 Mauls of the 3 Vaders and the 3 Walkers? You could cut one of. I would cut them all. I don't know if I would cut a Vader or not. Like, and Kira Vader is really good. I think you I don't know. I think you cut them all and
Had them all run a 51 card deck.
yeah,
Had 2 Snokes.
and that's for the it's
Or
61
actually. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
If it's me, I cut a resupply, just or a super laser tech. That's what I would cut. I would go down 1 ramp, but
Still
that's
keep
just
the double
me.
Traitorous.
I don't like Traitorous at all, but the reason it's in there is for the same reason Han was running Traitorous, is because it just stops some of these
Chewbacca units.
Yeah, it just stops some of that. So like, I think unfortunately in this meta we have to have Traitorous, but I would never run Traitorous if I didn't have to. We'll just put it that way. Like, I just would not. Also, like, I don't know if you need 2 Fells and 2 takedowns in there.
I think that's pretty reasonable.
And or maybe you get rid of one of that brute squadron. That could be something that goes. I don't know. It's hard because you have more cards, and like 1 Rivals Fall feels like you have to have that Rivals Fall in there because I think you just need it.
Yeah, heaven forbid if you draw it early though.
Yeah,
it's a dead card in your hand for
everything.
5 turns. Yeah, at least.
So like, I think maybe the Rivals Falls would sit in the sideboard. I think maybe that's what I would do. I would definitely have that 3rd No Glory in there though. I don't know. That's just me. But I don't know. I would not need 3 Mauls, I don't think.
No. Feels like overkill.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not really like using its ability too much, right? I guess like you could put it on.
You're not.
Like
It's
a
for the
or
for
a
the
Pike
ambush.
Sentinel, but it's just mostly the 7 attack ambush.
Yeah, it kills Anakin. There you go. That it's a super great. I'm gonna murder Anakin. I'm gonna murder Vader. I'm gonna murder any of these other leaders. Like,
As long as you ramp.
Yes. Well, that's why you have all the damn ramp in there. So
just the 6 cards. Nothing crazy.
It's a lot.
1/10 of your deck.
So, all right, let's move on to the Cad Bane Tarkin Town. This is the yellow deck that uses the red base, and that's it. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the yellow Tarkin.
It's got Raiders.
Ooh. It's got Raiders. That's it. That's literally the only red card in that whole main board.
No, it's got a hot shot.
You can pay 1 for the hot shot blaster. You don't have to smuggle
You're
it
not,
out.
though. Very few people are ever doing that. You're always smuggling it out. It's always yellow. But this is actually kind of an interesting deck. I don't know if, like...
It's a lot like the one we talked about last week that has, like, a bounty hunter synergy, but there's, like, some more twists in this one.
There's Bamboozled in this one.
There is 2 main deck Bamboozles, which are tricks, so you can actually just pay 3 for Jabba
or
if you ever needed to, or just play it for free by dumping a yellow card, which I'm sure is what everyone does.
Which is, you can just do that because 90% of your deck is yellow.
Yeah,
just it pays for itself. I don't know why none of us have thought about this and done this before, but there you go. Like, I've had
in sides for some of my yellow decks. villain decks.
I feel like Bamboozle needs to come into our trench deck, Alex. That's what I
don't
feel.
see a spot where that'd be useful.
I think it would.
You don't want to bounce it back to their hand. And you bounce yours. You bounce your own upgrades too.
Sometimes you have to. All right, who wants to cover this deck? I don't remember who we're on.
I'll take it. So we'll start off here with 3 copies of Greedo, 3 copies of McClunky, 2 DL44 Blasters, 3 Bazine Natals, 3 Cartel Spacers, 3 Crafty Smugglers, 2 Bamboozles, 1 Sneak Attack, 2 Surprise Strikes, 3 Boba Fett's, 2 Houndstooths, 2 Miss Hunters, 2 copies of Merciless Pursuit, 2 Waylays, 3 copies of Forlom, 2 copies of Jabba the Hutt and Bosk, and then we have 3 Zuckuses, 3 Ruthless Raiders, and 3 Cad Banes to round off the main deck there. And then sideboard we have 2 No Good To Me Deads, 3 Phantoms, 2 Champ Sandulas, 1 IG-88, 1 Aggressor, I should say, and 2 copies of the Devastator. And this is a really nice Bounty Hunter deck. You have Bounty Hunter for days. You're going to be pinking targets constantly with this. You have that Bamboozle for those, Vader decks that are out there, tearing up the meta. And you have a small amount of nice tricks to help you either buff your attacks or just remove a unit that could be problematic from your opponent's side and help you get the edge on there. Bosk and units to have on there, along with all these tricks on there. And then of course your bounty hunters with Zuckus and Forlom, they just can clean up really well. And then Cad Bane being able to capture a lot of those units when he comes in with his big power boost can absolutely wreck anything that has any upgrades on it as well. It's just a nice piece of tech to bring out later on in the game, just to prevent your opponent from running away from stuff there. And yeah, just overall really fun, really great Cad Bane deck.
Yeah, I like it. I wonder what the Houndstooth really does for the deck, because that's like not something we've seen, right? And
3 cost space presence for 4/3 is not bad at all, even if you're ignoring the ability.
I guess, but only being 3 health is what's kind of weird. It shoots first if it's attacking an exhausted unit that didn't enter play this time. So I don't know, maybe their first turn play, if it's like an A-wing, you play the Houndstooth, and then next turn they don't trade. I don't know. I don't know where that's being super useful other than
I don't like seeing it in Vader. How about that?
Sure, I guess, but you can just trade 1 unit, right? Can't you just trade that first order guy with a raid 1 into it?
You can, yes, that you can. You have to have another token unit out though, but yes.
I mean, that shouldn't be hard in a Vader deck, right?
Tarkentown is actually Cad Bane Tarkentown is actually one of the hardest matchups for that Vader deck, in my opinion.
See that.
It's not
just
a good matchup.
I'm just trying to speculate, why. I mean, I guess, I don't know, you could sneak attack it in. That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah. I don't know why it's there either. I think it's just, I don't know what you would put in its place. I don't like it, but that's just me, right? It's a play style thing. I wouldn't run that myself.
I mean, it is Underworld.
Maybe he has hyperfoils of it.
I was gonna say,
yeah, that's hard because that's a starter pack card. You actually have to pull those.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, I like the deck. It's very, like I said, it's very similar to the one we covered last week that I really liked. It's just, I like bounty hunters. They're cool. Jabba's always really fun. Even if you can't afford to pitch a card with Bamboozle, you can still play it for 3 when he's out. That's pretty cute. But it's solid. I'd probably run 2 sneak attacks over 1, but I like my consistency.
So the last top 8 deck is another Quinlan Tarkentown. We are not going to cover this in detail because we've already covered these. This one has Ezra's in it, though. So There you go. That's more traditional.
And red 5, which is actually pretty interesting.
Yep, we got red 5 in there.
Everywhere, right? So you'd think it would naturally be in more of those, but...
Yep, this is what got me. The one I lost to had this in there. So, and that, with the Tarkentown, it just makes your life hell. They also have Plo Koons in here. I don't think the other one had Plo Koon. So
It did.
did it? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Plo Koons are just really good, right? Just
Plo Koon's one of the better,
fantastic units.
best card we got out of that set.
Probably the best out of Twilight. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's up there. There's a bunch of good cards in Twilight.
But anyway, so that's kind of what this deck is. I don't think we need to go through it. Really now kind of the thing that we have is these are some of the other lists that I feel are possibly a discussion point. I won't guarantee like every single one of these lists should be covered or be used or this and that, but this Kylo Tarkin, this is what I lost to. This has the Rancors in it, right? Like, so this one was unique because this had Pillage in the sideboard. He brought Pillage in against me, and then when he used Pillage, it didn't do anything. So like, I was like, well, if you're not going to kill anything for 4 resources, whatever. I guess take a couple of my cards.
Yeah, do you want me to run through this deck real quick?
I think so, because I think this deck's actually interesting compared to that yellow one we were talking about before. Like, this one feels like it has more legs.
Yeah, we haven't seen a red Kylo in a bit, but Kylo Tarkentown, always fun. This one has triple Benthic, double Laguavian Antagonizers, double Mr. Bones, triple the Reckless Gunslinger, triple Daring Raid, triple Force Throw, triple Bo-Katan, the double red one. There is a red villainy one, so that's the double red one. Triple Kylo Silencer, triple MiGs, triple Force Choke, double Armed to the Teeth, triple of the Droid Missile Platform, triple Fifth Brother, triple Von Reg's Tie, triple Fallen Lightsaber, or it's Tanner's opponent. There's like 7 of them. Triple Aggression, triple Aggression, 1 Pillage, double Ruthless Raider, double Wild Rancor. In the side, you have triple Wolf, double Disabling Fang, double the Chaos of War. Hey, it's our segment. The second and third copy of Pillage, and then the third copy of Ruthless Raider. I ran Kylo a lot. He's very fun. I never really did a mono red one because I don't think there was enough cards when set 2 was out to justify that over yellow. But this is pretty solid. I like this a lot. It's very, very just let's go as hard as we can.
Yeah. And if you play ground units and they play a MiGs, you kill it. That's what you have to do. But the best part about MiGs is MiGs activates Tarkentown for you. Turn 1.
Yep.
So it's actually like pretty scary in that aspect.
Yeah. It's nice. I like the before you had the punishing one, right? Instead of Von Reg's Tie. Punishing one may be triggered occasionally. You actually killed something with an upgrade. But Von Reg's Tie, you can put Armed to the Teeth on, and then now it gets the Overwhelm or the pump it up with Armed to the Teeth kind of thing. It will do that, which is really cool. I mean, you have to pump it up twice in order to even get the extra raid, but it probably happens more than the punishing one, I guess, if we're trying to go Overwhelm. I don't know. I was just trying to think of why Von Reg's Tie would be in there instead of punishing one.
My belief is that he did have a Armed to the Teeth that he played on it, so that would be my guess. Is why
the Overwhelm's really good for your little TIE fighter tokens.
I know.
Just take 4 to the base and I kill a unit.
Well, I killed Von Reg's Tie when he.
Yes, you should.
He played it, put that on there, and I said, nope, you can't have that anymore. So,
I like this deck. I should get around to playing Kylo again.
Yeah, I told my nephew about this deck, and he was kind of excited about it. He was a little sad because he's moved on and he's playing these other newer leaders, and I was like, well, you played Kylo for a whole tournament season. Here was one that actually beat me, so you want to beat me? Here you go. The next one is the Vader. We're not going to cover this other than the differences. This is very, very identical to my deck, except for this one is main decking these Eager. I don't know.
Fighters, the 4/1 ambush guys. Eager escort fighters. Yeah, those are E-wings, right?
Yes, and those were the tech. That's a tech that they had included that's been in the Discord discussion piece. I did not like them because I think they I feel they are counterintuitive, but they are nice to take out Falcons. So
They're hilarious against TIE bombers.
Or TIE bombers, that too, yes.
Because they're just like, okay, well, I killed it. I'm still around.
Yeah, so they're not like, it's not unfounded, and as you can see, they cut the Victor 3 here, and I kind of actually agree with them. They're also main decking Waylay, and I didn't do that.
They also have triple mercenary gunship, which is interesting.
It was supposed. I didn't get to talk to him about it. He played that, and I stole it with my Vader. As soon as like he played it, and like he killed something, and I didn't have a ship down, so I just stole it and kept my hand. And then he was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna take it." Like,
yeah,
I don't know if that's the correct play, but I mean, I did.
Sometimes it happens, and you need it.
I did 9 damage to his base before he killed it, so like, and he could never take it back because I didn't have as many ships down as he did. I'm not gonna say I won the game by any means. I did not win that game, but yeah, I took it. I was like, yeah, well, you're gonna run this. I'm just gonna take it. I knew he had those too because he's in the same Discord as I am. But that's kind of the difference. It's there supposedly to trade with anything that can ambush in. Like, so if Poe ambushes in a black 1, ECLs it in, round 1, it at least trades with it. That's the idea behind it. I chose not to go that route after a long discussion about the stealing. And maybe it's just because I play Pelp and I know how impactful, like
how much of a massive tempo loss that is.
Yeah, especially in this deck. So I personally I would never do that. But I don't know. I was tempted to put those in there. And like me and the guys I came with, we sat and talked about it for like a good half hour. And I came to the pretty easy conclusion that if it gets stolen and I played something and now I don't have anything, I'm just going to be sad. Period. And so I didn't want to be sad. And you can't play Vader on it. That was the best part. The guy was like baiting me. I was swinging into his base, and he was baiting me to see if I was going to put Vader on that ship because he's like, what happens?
We went over this ruling.
We did. That's what I told him. I was like, I run a podcast, and we already talked about this, so we would not do that. So, and he was like, all right, fair enough. He's like, that's why I let it live so long. I was like, well, it did 9 damage to your base. You probably shouldn't have. So we'll move on from there. There's nothing. He has Bazines in the sideboard, which actually. And Dorian gunships. I think the Dorian gunships are incorrect in this deck. You should never run those in the sideboard. Though I don't.
They seem very Win-Mori.
Yeah, they're not needed. They're just 100% not. They're horrible against the control to some extent too. Like they're only good against like super hard control. That's it. Other than that, they're not. They're just not good.
I do gotta ask, what was your highest amount that you put up for a clone close combat squadron?
In Richmond or overall?
Richmond.
12 or 13.
Yeah, mine was 12 too. And like I had my opponent like look at it, they're like, "You're crazy, dude." I'm like, "Yeah, it's all these ties you let live."
I'm sorry, I'm one-shotting your base now.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything about it.
I actually managed to take down an Avenger or one of these. It was great.
Whoa. All right. That's hilarious. All right. I did not do that, but that's effing hilarious. That's funny.
I love that you're just like, I would have killed this Avenger instead of doing like 12 to their base or whatever.
JJ's getting spicy there. They get to 9 resources. That guy ain't got Snoke, so he's just gonna kill this. If the guy brings out Snoke, that ship's dead. That ship's just gone. Even with Victor leader, that ship's just gone. Like, it's just like, see you. Have a nice time. They have Bazines in the sideboard, which I actually contemplated.
No frozen and carbonites.
No frozen and carbonates. I think like mine would be the frozen and carbonite. I would put the frozen and carbonites in and get rid of those stupid Dorian ships. And I think I might be at Sabine's over salvage. I think that's the correct play.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit iffy on that.
Yeah, I just like salvage so much though. Like it's just so good.
I play against a lot of control people, so they're just like, I'm going to kill that clone thing. And I'm like, well, I'm bringing it back.
All right, the next one we have, this is Han 2 ECL, which we have not seen do well in anything ever. And here it is. This is Paul. Now we haven't seen not Han ECL. I've not seen Han ECL top anything. You go find go ahead and go find it. This is Paul Heaver's list though. So this is actually
there
I talked to Paul Heaver about this, like, because him and Crispy are both on Han. One's on ECL, one's on Data Vault. So we're gonna cover Paul Heaver's list because this is like, I don't know, this feels similar-ish to the Sabines, except for he's got all these like high-end units that he just brings in, and he's got walkers in here, right? Like, because you can bring it out for 7, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, this is a hilarious list, and he's got profundities in the sideboard, which we're gonna have to ask him why he's got profundities in the
Why
sideboard.
not? If your game goes long,
Like, it's great. Like, it's just crazy. Like, this is just like all these cards. Like, I don't know. I like this deck. I'm actually tempted to pull this together just to play this deck, just because this deck looks a lot more fun than Sabine.
I played Han 2 ECL quite a bit actually in set 2.
Yeah, because you can bring you could bring two deserted clones out in one turn.
I have done that before. I mean, you could do that normally, but like a Battlefield Marine clone deserter combo is pretty nasty.
All right, who's up to cover decks? I don't remember. Is it JJ?
Yeah. So Paul here, we're running here a Han Solo, or red Han Solo, a ECL. Got 2 copies of the Clone Deserter. Got 2 copies here of the Barrage Shots.
System Shock.
Yeah, System Shock, sorry. We got 3 Timely Interventions, 3 Battlefield Marines. We got 3 Sabine Wrens. It's 3 copies of Blue Leader, 3 Cassian Andors, 3 copies of Red 5, 3 Sabine Masterpieces, 3 Sundari Peacekeepers, 2 Champs and Doulas, 3 Heavies, 3 K2 SOs, 3 Poe Dameron Pilots, 3 Poe Dameron Ground Units, 3 Wreckers, 2 Home Ones, and then 2 Reinforcement Walkers to round off the list. And then in the sideboard, we got a 3rd Clone Deserter. We have another Champs and Doula Home One, Reinforcement Walker, 2 Crate Dragons, and 2 Profundities, and then 2
Dogfights.
Yeah,
underrated card.
Very underrated. Absolutely. So I actually like this list a lot. There's a lot of great like low to the ground units that you can play with Han that have just enough help for you to use Han's ability to deploy them out early, so that way they can just flood the board for where they are, and just do a lot of great damage right off the bat if your opponent's not ready to deal with that amount of units that can come out really fast. I mean, your first round plays, you can do the Clone Deserters out there along with the Battlefield Marine really fast, and that allows you to really have a really good start there. And also the Sundari Peacekeepers can deploy really fast as well, cheap, low to the ground if you have a lot of them out. Helps keep your base healthy and keep the pressure on your opponent's base. And then Sabine's Masterpiece actually works really well here as well, because you have these aspects here that really brings out the abilities for the Masterpiece.
And the ECL is huge with that.
Yeah, ECL, exactly. And I love using Wrecker in Han Solo decks as well, especially with ECL, just to do that big spike damage on the ground. Definitely a lot of great uses there. I definitely like the Reinforcement Walker add on to this as well, just having that extra bit of restore available to you if you're taking a little longer in getting your opponent's health down. Just adds that extra bit of effort for your opponent to try to knock that out in order to take down your base. So a lot of great units on here. This is definitely a fun deck.
What's really nice and things that aren't like super obvious is you can turn 1 Blue Leader and just take out whatever they played in space because it's got ambush, which is huge.
30.
And also like playing Poe Pilot, just bring him out early and then just shove him in the next wing so it doesn't matter that he lost the health is always really nice. Because you're paying 3 for a 4/5 X-Wing token, which isn't bad. And then, you got your so many good ECL targets between Red Poe, Wrecker, Heavy, even like Champ Sedula, but also like Sabine's Masterpiece, all that stuff. K2SO is really good.
Yeah, this deck feels a lot closer to like more of a Fennec style ambush type deck, right?
It's an efficiency or like a tempo kind of thing.
Which is why probably I like this better than Sabine. personally, because this is definitely, you have to know when to kill and when to go to base with this.
You appreciate the triple system shock too. Just
Yep, I love it. Actually,
just deal with Chewbacca's and stuff.
Yep, my son or my nephew and I were talking about this today, and like I was like, man, I never really thought about. He had it in his deck, and I was like, I pulled it out, and I was like, I don't think you need this, and he's like, no. And then we talked about it. I was like, all right, yep, you're right. I never thought about that. Like that's actually really, really good in this meta, because like it can hit like almost anything that has an upgrade on it,
Yep,
right?
As long as there's no leader.
Yep, as long as you can't hit Sabines, but yeah,
right.
Yeah, you could hit anything else, and I was like,
oh, there's an upgrade, yeah.
Hmm.
Or at the very because it's an if you do, so you have to defeat an upgrade, a non-leader upgrade, and then you do 1 damage to it. And I've lost a sad amount of games in draft to this card because they just like knock out a pilot of a big unit that I had. I'm like, oh, well, I'm playing draft, so I don't really have the resources to kind of like eat that tempo loss. That sucks. Stupid 1 cost card.
Yeah, it's better. It's funny because he was talking to me about it. He's like, well, if I take your unit off your TIE fighter, I could kill it then. And I was like, yes, you can. You people teching against me. God damn it. But he's right. Like it actually makes a lot of sense. And like think about a Falcon. You could take it and take the Chewie off the Falcon. You kill their play, do 1 damage to it. And as long as you got something else that could do 3 damage in the next turn, you're fine. I don't know. I like that card actually quite a bit. I have 3 hyperfoils of that card. So.
Well, now
naturally hyperfoiled. So the next list that we're going to cover is the Vader Data Vault list. I don't know. I really don't know if we have to. I don't like this list is obviously meant to get the showcase. That's what it's there for. But
it's by the that one guy, right? Like
George Hudson. Yep.
Yeah.
He's like the guy that started Blue Vader all across the world. So
didn't he also do like the Gar Saxon one, or is that a different guy? I'm just mixing.
No, he did Hondo.
Oh,
Hondo.
Right. Yes.
Yes, he was the Hondo guy. So
yeah.
All right, go ahead. Why don't you run over it real quick, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so it's set 1 Vader Data Vault. Good old green-red Vader again, bringing it back, baby. You got double salvage, triple the First Order Stormtrooper, triple of the First Order TIE Fighter, triple Timely, triple Hawks. Trying to go with that First Order theme early on. Triple Kylo Silencer, triple Force Choke, triple Prepare for Takeoff, double of the Price on Your Head for a little bit extra ramp. You got triple Black Sun Starfighter, double Disabling Fang Fighter, triple Super Laser Tech, triple of the TIE Daggers. Always love those cards. I think they're underrated. Triple Open Fire, triple Resupply, double of the Pirate Battle Tank, because once a Hondo player, always a Hondo player, I'm going.
Yes, yep.
But also it's really good against hand destruction and stuff.
Yep.
So triple Resupply Carrier, triple Vader, triple of the Red Devastator, triple Reinforcement Walker, 1 main deck Relentless, and then triple of the Green Devastator. Love it. In the side, you got the 3rd Disabling Fang Fighter, triple of the Eager Escort Fighters, triple of the B2 Legionnaires. That's the 5/4 Sentinel Overwhelm. Yes. I have those in my Dooku deck. Double, I'm not playing this in main deck, Overwhelming Barrage, which I respect. And then a 2nd Relentless.
Yeah. I like this deck
ramp
actually.
Big and then hit. Yeah.
This is like the early, kind of the similar Bosk version that we had kind of seen last set.
It's like half a Piet deck that they just shoved into a Vader shell. It's awesome.
Yeah. I think this is very interesting. I think again, like salvage, I don't know. I don't like it feels bad if you get it when you don't have something in your discard, but then on the other times when you do, like, I mean, can you imagine somebody that makes you discard a card from your hand and it's like, well, I know salvage will eventually come up. There you go. I'll get rid of one of these devastators. Oh, now I'm going to play this and do 4 damage to you and all sorts of crazy shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I like salvage a fair bit, especially because like you can salvage out like your Black Sun Starfighter if you need it, or salvage like the TIE Dagger. Just to finish off stuff, or you can salvage a resupply carrier, just ramp again if you really want. But also, like, when they kill, actually, when they kill the Relentless, because you only got one of them, that's probably really big, too. And it also works on the tanks.
Yep.
Which is cute. It's a disabling Fang Fighter. Like, it's a good card to give you utility for all your destroyed vehicles that are in your discard pile, because that's kind of your second hand right now with salvage. And you get a reinforcement walker back too, which is real nice.
Yeah, I think the only thing is the Hux. I'm not sold on the Hux because you only have 9 units in there that are first order. I'm not sold on Hux for that reason, but I guess I don't know. Like, maybe at the beginning of the game it's better because you're probably gonna have one of those, and it's just like it's a 2 cost draw.
So it's a little bit less consistent.
Yeah.
You can probably also pull them off Vader. Might not be bad when you can like play first order units later in the game and draw some stuff.
Yeah, it's just weird. There's no ground. They have air sentinels, but no ground sentinel until you hit your tanks. So
phase 3 troopers might be interesting. I mean, like, you're also main decking triple like prepare for takeoff, right? So like, you have your vehicles. It does seem to like neglect ground a little bit, but you also have like triple open fire, triple force choke.
True.
So maybe that helps. Got some timelies. I don't know. Maybe that's why they have the tanks, because they don't have a lot of like ground sentinel. Yeah.
This deck has literally like what 10, 11 ramp in it. 12. No more than that. 3 and 3 is 9. 11 ramp. It has 11 ramp cards in it. So
in a 60 card deck. So
this needs Architects in it. That's all it needs.
Just more ramp.
Actually, I would rather have those Architects than those resupply carriers, if we're being perfectly honest with you. Those things are just fire. So, well, all right. I think we're gonna cut it there. I have like 6 more lists, but I think we're gonna
next week.
I don't want to do like I don't. Maybe we'll come back later this week. I don't know. It's a Tuesday night when we're recording this because I didn't get home until 3:30 in the morning on Sunday or Monday morning, right? So I feel too tired to go through a bunch more lists tonight. But we do have some other cool lists that did make top. So we'll see what comes out of this weekend. If we don't get a lot of cool variety, I'm going to save those lists and we'll use them, for extra stuff in the podcast later. So. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We will be back next week at a regularly scheduled time of Sunday. So you should be getting all your information. Unless I'm gone for some reason on Sunday. I don't think I'll be this weekend. So.
Oh, Store Champs Sunday too.
I'm just waiting for the next leader that I predicted to come out as a reveal, and that's all I'm excited for right now.
I think you edited that, Doc. We're gonna have to go back. And
I did not, dude.
We're gonna I actually have a picture of it from when it was released. It's on there. It's the wrong color, JJ. You said yellow.
It is the wrong color.
Red.
Yeah, it is the wrong color. Yeah.
I mean, if they get Grogu leader, we know like we have to consider maybe redoing our NDAs because JJ's breaking them all. Grogu leader. I swear. I don't even know.
We're not getting a Grogu leader. So all right. Well, anyway, thank you all for joining us. We'll be back next week. Until then, stay tuned and check out some of our other content. Maybe we'll try to get a game in this week. A stream game. We haven't done that in a while. We haven't actually done it with Alex, so
it's true. I had the setup now, and I can show you the right deck or the Akbar deck, whatever you want.
Let's get some Twin Suns going too, man. I want to do that. It'd be fun.
All right. Well, we'll figure something out, and we'll get back to you guys on that. But anyway, thank you all. Have a good night, and we'll see you on the Flippity Flop.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.